Quick question, you ever used a puller as a pusher? I'm about to. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Chaz. This is CK4RC. This is my Crawler Tracks Llama Tracks shirt. If you know, you know. Well, today I've got a brushless motor with no pinion. I've got a sack of pinions with no motor. And then I've got a gear puller that I'm going to use to push. So if you're not sure how to install a pinion, that's what we're going to do together today. So just call me Mr. Pusherman. No, don't do that. That's different. Let's not do that. But I am going to bring you over here. We're going to go down the steps of how to push a pinion on a motor without messing up your motor shaft and ruining your motor. First thing, I've got a motor in a box. So we're going to pull that out. There's a motor, there's a box. Next, we've got some pinions. Now, these are different tooth pinions. These are 11 tooth and 13 tooth, and these are 1.5 millimeter shaft holes, and they are mod 0.5 pitch. So you've got to make sure you know what size pinion you need for your motor that will mesh up to the transmission that you're going to be using. That's important. And then lastly, you've got the good old gear puller tool right here from Mias with all of the bips and the bops and the attachments. We don't need all of the attachments to push a spur gear on, and it's already got the pusher attachment installed. So that's cool. Now I'm going to back it out to where I can fit my motor in here. So you want to get your motor centered right here on the little peg stand kind of thing right there. And then what you'll do is you'll put your pinion on this little shaft. You will get everything lined up real good, and then you will just screw it down into place until these two little shafts meet, and then the one on the puller / pusher will retract, and the pinion will be pressed down onto the shaft of the motor. So that's exactly what we want. So I'm going to grab one of these pinions here. Not terribly concerned about which one I get, whether it's 11 tooth or 13 tooth. There we go. All right, I'm going to take this, I'm going to stick it right here where it's supposed to go with that. And then I'm going to get this lined back up, and you've got to make sure that things are lined up right in the center, because otherwise things will get bent and ruined, and you don't want that at all. So don't do that. So let's get everything centered real good, nice and tight. There we go. All right, we're starting to get a little bit of resistance. You can see the motor is being held in there by friction. So we're good and tight in there. Now I'm just going to start twisting this down into place, just like this. And I'm starting to get some resistance, so I'm probably going to stop doing that. And I'm going to unscrew it. And now I have a pinion on my motor. And as you can see, I went way too shallow. So I need to get this back on here and get the pinion pushed down further onto the shaft, which I probably could have and should have eyeballed that and recognized that from the beginning. But better safe than sorry, because I'm not trying to ruin any of my stuff. Not intentionally. Sometimes it happens just because I don't really know what I'm doing with stuff most of the time. Which is why I'm the exact person to do instructional videos. You know what I mean? That makes sense, right? No, that doesn't make any sense at all. All right, there we go. Now we're getting it pressed on just, oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. There we go. Now I'm getting real good resistance. So that's it. I'm going to back it off. And now you can see that pinion is perfectly on that motor shaft. And this motor is ready to go. Now, if you're not sure how to pull a pinion, what you do is you get this little attachment right here. You got to back this thing all the way out. You change this attachment because you don't need this one to pull a pinion. This is for pushing a pinion. And then what you need is, you need the proper one of these. So what you want is, you want the one that lines up the same size as your motor shaft. So this is a 1.5 millimeter motor shaft, which means I'm gonna need this smallest one right here. And hopefully I can get these things to keep from rolling away. So I'm going to just take that, I'm going to screw it in place. Just like this, real nice and easy. Super simple. I'm going to unscrew this all the way out. And then I'm going to take this plate and I'm going to slide it right here between the motor mount and the pinion gear itself. So you're going to slide it right between there, and then this slides into these little grooves right there. It's made perfectly to slide in there. Get this all lined up here. Get this going down. Now you got to make sure you get everything lined up perfectly with your motor shaft, because once it starts pressing down, if it's not lined up perfectly, you will either bend your tool or you will just take a huge gouge out of the pinion itself. So you just get everything good and lined up, and then you just screw it down, and the plate and the friction will start pulling the pinion off of the motor shaft onto this shaft. And then when you're done, the gear is separated from the motor. It's as easy as that. I'm not gonna actually do it because I need that pinion on that gear. So I just wanted to show you what it takes to get it done. It's a really simple process. And as you can see, it has taken less than 10 minutes. And that's to do a little bit of both, which you never need to push and pull at the same time. So that's it. Now let's wrap this thing up. Voila, we have a motor, we have a pinion, and now I need to go slap this in something so I can test it out. So that's gonna do it for today. Hit that quadfecta for me real quick before you go. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. Don't forget to hype and become a channel member. It's a big time support for the channel, and you get bonus stuff. So you can't go wrong with that. Anyway, keep doing RC stuff, and I'll see you next time. Big time thank you to my members and channel partners, and if you would like to join the ranks, click on that join button for exclusive content, never before seen videos, early access to videos, and other exclusive content, pictures, polls, and having an active voice in what comes next on the channel. So appreciate the support, click on that join button, and thank you so much to the channel members.